Clube Social apresenta o Corre do Xamã. Vendendo amendoim na rua ou rimando na batalha, sua história é feita de vários corres. E para não parar, Clube Social sempre foi seu parceiro. Clique e confira a nova versão da música Dias de Luta, Dias de Glória com Xamã por Clube Social. Clube Social, partiu para não parar.
Welcome back to Friend Crush. I'm your host, Amber Akilla. Today we have a special guest. That girl. Introduce yourself.
Hi, I am that girl. Don't be that girl or be that girl. Well, I'm already one, so
Uh-huh.
I'm Lisa. And I live somewhere in this beautiful whatever world.
I live in this toilet.
And I'm currently in this toilet. No idea. It was just a Pinterest suggestion. I'm in love with it. I'm actually thinking of decorating my room the same way. Anyways. Yeah. So my story begins from my ex-boyfriend telling me that he's seen someone and he met that person on Hinge. And I'm like, what the hell is Hinge? He was like, maybe you should try that. So basically, that dude told me to download Hinge. And I'm like, sure, I'll do that. So I did. And where I live in this country, Hinge is not available on Apple Store. You have to go through a lot of different things to be able. It's like in China, there's no Tinder. You got to have an outside Apple Store and all this kind of stuff. So basically I did that. It took me 3 hours to actually get that app on my phone.
Wait, so you need VPN to access Hinge?
I needed a different Apple Store. So I needed to switch the country. And in order to switch the country, I had to have a different credit card, a different phone number. So basically I had to make a new Apple ID, entire new Apple ID. So, I went far to
Determined.
just download this one app. Yeah. But it also, I thought that if it's not available in this country means that I won't see people who are around me. So I won't see friends of friends and all this kind of stuff. So I'm like, yeah, great. Kind of like a bubble, secure bubble. So basically I downloaded the app. I saw everyone was ugly or cringe or or just not that, and I was just looking through people for a couple months. I didn't even meet anyone at first. And
were
then
they in your city, or so there was still people that were there or traveling through, and then you
basically tourists or people that live here that are not from here. And so I did go on a date once, but it was just no, I don't know why I did that. And then a couple of months later, I actually forgot about the app. I had a mental breakdown. I was like, God, I'm so tired of people here. I'm so tired of all the toxic environment and things like this. Anyway, and I opened Hinge and I saw this one guy who liked my profile, and also I think he commented cute or something, and his profile looked different. So it was edgy kind of something, and I'm like, this is interesting, Berlin vibe, I'm like, okay. And me having a mental breakdown, I'm like, oh yeah, okay, whatever, hi. And he messaged me saying, hey, what are you doing tonight? I just moved to the city, I'm traveling. And I'm like, I'm actually not doing anything. I plan to be in bed because today is bad anyways. And he was like, let's go for dinner. And I'm like, sure, let's go for dinner.
Be honest.
So I went for dinner with this guy. And it was fun. But then we actually did click first 15 minutes. I felt like I knew this guy my whole life. And I'm like, interesting. But I didn't feel oh my God, yeah, he was cute, obviously, but I didn't feel I want him to like me, or I just wanted to, to talk to someone outside my circle, basically. So yeah, we had
Is there an age gap?
And then, no, couple years, nothing really. Yeah, and he told me about his life, the work that he does. But the most important part is I knew his work. When I saw his profile, I didn't even know like what this guy was. But then when I was already on the way to the date place, I checked his Instagram and I'm like, wait, I actually used to follow this person. And I didn't even know that that was a real person because I thought it was like a inspo page, you know. And it had like quite a bit of following. And I'm like, interesting. No way it's him, right? And then when I met him, I'm like, hey, that's actually you. And he was like, yeah, that's me. And I did this and that. And I'm like, oh, that's interesting. Whatever. Tell me about your life. Anyways. And then like, yeah, we went around. I took him to like my favorite bars. Like he's new here. So I'm like, I wanted to show him like what's up. Right. And then after that, he was like, do you want to go back to mine? And I'm like, nah, sorry. I have like an early start tomorrow. So like, I'll see you in a couple of days. And that's it basically. And I didn't even like think about it like at all. And then the next morning he messaged me basically. And then a couple of days later, we met again at the party. And then we ended up to like hanging out together. And it was like a very like weird situation, but like I went to his place and his friends were like lost. There was just like lots of like that night was super hectic. Anyways, but that kind of like it was so new and interesting to me because like my life here has been like very like, you know, mellow. And I'm like, oh yeah, like something else is happening, right? So yeah, and then after that, we had a talk, you know, like drunk talk by the poolside kind of vibe. So, and I'm like, wow, he actually is interesting. And I'm like, I think I like this guy just a little bit, whatever. And I ended up spending like a week with him. And then he left. And I didn't really, but like by the end of that week, we were kind of like too close. And it was a bit too, you know, like alarming. Like, stop it, girl. Stop it right there. So
like too intense.
Yeah, it was a bit too intense.
But he was just there like for holiday, not to like move or anything. Yeah. He was like, okay.
Yeah. And it was his first time here, and you know. And then he left, but we kept on talking. Basically, like he would message me good morning when he's going to sleep because like time zones, whatever time difference, and like yeah, sometimes he'd message me like all the time. Sometimes he would just disappear for a couple days. But the place where he lived, it's like it's kind of obvious, like hot people around you, and like you meet new people. And he recently moved there, actually, like a couple months before that. Anyways, and then he, nah, Berlin.
Okay.
But disclaimer: the guy's from LA.
Mm-hmm. I already know.
Yeah,
I can already tell.
Obviously, yeah. And then, yeah, I actually heard something like this, like after that, my friend was like, yeah, like guys are just like that, Lisa, like, what are you doing, that girl? Anyways, so then he was like, I need to be outside, like out of like European Union for like a couple weeks because my visa and all this kind of stuff, like he's American, right? And I want to go somewhere. Do you want to come with me somewhere? Do you want to meet me somewhere? And I'm like, interesting. Like I could, but like I can't travel at this point of my life because like I'm about to quit my job. Like I need to like save some money, you know, like I can't like go far and like I need to, you know, be mindful of my future and stuff. He was like, yeah, I understand, it's fine. But then I once mentioned Japan and he was like, well, Japan could be cool. And I've never been to Japan. Like I've been to a lot of countries in Asia, but like Japan was like, oh yeah, maybe. Mm-hmm. And I was like, yep, I mean, could be. Then one day he didn't message me, I think like for like 3 days. And I'm like, oh, this fucking guy like disappeared. Like me and my friend, we called it like swimming. Maybe he's swimming, you know? Like, what is he doing? Why is he not messaging you? Maybe he's swimming. Maybe he's like doing laps, you know, by the lake and stuff like this. So basically the dude was swimming for a couple days. And then out of blue, he messaged me, hey, I really want to talk to you about Japan. Let's call, like, let's do it. And I'm like, okay. So basically he called me and he said, let's go. And I checked the flights and they were like super cheap. And I'm like, okay. And then I called the embassy. I needed to apply for a visa. all good, I can do it. I asked my coworkers like if they can replace me. Everything was like really like, in place. So basically, he called me again and we bought tickets together. So we bought flights, and his thing was like, oh, let's try to land at the same time so we have this meet cute at the airport and all this kind of stuff. And I'm like, fine, whatever. So yeah, we booked the trip for 2 weeks. And honestly, like until the last moment, I was like, nah, whatever, I'm just talking to this guy. But then like, when we already like booked the flights and we already like decided to go together, like I already, kind of like, yeah, maybe he's the one-ish, I don't know. And basically we booked flights 3 weeks from now, let's say.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, and then every day he kept on like, hey, let's plan the trip, let's book something together, let's do something. And I'm like, sure. And then like we would call and then we would like scroll all those like Airbnbs for like hours and stuff. And then I had this feeling, I'm like, let's book one thing first together, and then after that we'll figure it out at the spot, right? Because I've never been there, like he's never been there, like we don't know like the areas and stuff. And yeah, this is like we did that. And then after that he was still in Berlin. Maybe a week before, he was like, my friends are inviting me to Paris Fashion Week, should I go? And I'm like, sure, like why not? And he was like, I don't know, like it just felt like he needed my confirmation to go to Paris and like to see his friends and whatever. And I'm like, I don't know, up to you. And he's like, oh, but I like feel so restless, like I don't know, like and I'm like, well, then don't go. And he was like, but it's Paris Fashion Week and I'm like leaving Europe after like for a couple months after this. And I'm like, well, I don't know, it's up to you, bro. But anyways, he decided to go. He messaged me that, yeah, I'm going to Paris like for 5 days. And then after that, I'll fly to Tokyo and like we'll see each other soon. And then he kept saying like, oh, I wish it was earlier. I wish we could like just fly today. Like, I miss you and all this kind of stuff. And like, you're amazing and shit like this, right? And I'm like, cool. So I'm getting ready and I'm not the kind of person, like I'm not gonna text him like, hey babes, what's up? Like, how's your life? How's your day? Did you eat? And stuff like this, I was like, okay, whatever, dude's doing his thing. I'm just gonna stay away from it. I'm like working and, kind of getting ready for my trip. And then I messaged him. I was like, hey, I miss you. And he was like, I miss you too. And then I asked something important and he didn't reply. So basically he didn't reply me for 5 days. And my flight, let's say, is tomorrow. The bitch hasn't gotten back to me in 5 days already. And I'm like, what's going on? And basically I'm packed already. And I know like his flight is like soon as well, or like later than mine. I don't know, I'm not sure. But yeah, and I messaged him, I'm like, hey, like, is it happening or not? Like, it's already like 9 p.m. my time, and like my flight is tomorrow at 2 p.m. And then he didn't reply again for a couple hours, and then he sends me the text like this, the email vibe. And I'm like, okay, I got it. Something's going on. I was like looking at my phone, like, okay, I need to read this. But how to what? Like, I know. I already know the answer. So the message goes like this. Hey babes, no babes, my name. I'm so sorry, I haven't I haven't been communicating properly. But my Paris trip was so intense and a lot of things happened, and I'm really sorry. I didn't yeah, nah. So he was like this. I've been talking to this one person like months before I met you. Basically months before I like came to visit whatever your country and stuff. And I accidentally met this person in Paris, and I ended up spending, and he kept saying on them, they, them, and I'm like, bro, I know you're straight. I know it's a she. I know.
Oh,
like,
suddenly you care about the LGBTQ community.
exactly.
Suddenly pronouns. Suddenly you'll respect pronouns. All right.
So yeah, and he kept on like them, they, and I do have feelings for them, and they have feelings for me too. And I don't want to like I'm trying to make like I'm trying to do the good thing, you know. I'm like I don't want to be behind and like I don't want to do shit behind anyone's back, basically. And I don't think this trip will be good for us. So basically he was like, I'm still going to Japan. I'm not sure if you're going. I'm not sure like what's like going on with like your refund policies and all this kind of stuff. So like it's up to you if you're going, like shit like this. And I'm like, what the hell? And then I read this whole thing. Obviously, I'm like, whoa, like great, you know? But also the point was I did tell him that I need to save up. I did tell him that I can't spend a lot of money now. Plus, I've never been to Japan. I had no idea it's cheap. You know, I thought Japan is more expensive than it is actually. But like again, accommodation is like ridiculously expensive, anyways.
Wait, so
So
had you
yeah,
guys
and I was
booked
like,
any accommodation together or you just booked flights at this point?
yeah, we booked a place for 3 nights somewhere, and he booked it. So
Okay.
basically, I
So he
didn't
could
even know.
take
Like
that.
I saw the place. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So and then I just look at this freaking email type of message, and I just message him like, "Hey, I mean, I guess that's fine. Like, all good, but you have to call me and tell me everything. But like, don't do this through like via chats and stuff. Like, we're not 15." And he was like, "Yeah, sure. I'm so sorry. Like, I'll call you in a bit." And I'm like, "Yeah, dude, like, just be a man at least here." And then he calls me and he says, "Hey, I'm so sorry again. I'm really, really sorry. I really liked you. I did not fake anything. I really wanted to see you, but shit happens and this and that." And I'm like, dude, like, you went to Paris. You knew exactly who you're going to see there. Like, you asked me 100 times, like, should I go? Like, you were clearly seeking for my confirmation. And I'm like, you knew what exactly was gonna happen. Like, what the hell? Like, and he was like, I'm really sorry, but this and that. And I'm like, okay, yeah, whatever. Like, I get it. Just goodbye. Like, I have nothing to tell you and stuff. And then I'm like, okay, then, and he's like, oh, but can we stay friends? And I'm like, sure. Obviously, I hung up and I have a
How old
massive
is he?
mental breakdown. He's 20, he's 30. He just turned 30 like a couple months ago. Yeah. And so basically I'm having this mental breakdown. My friend comes over, we get drunk, obviously. And I'm like, I didn't want to catch feelings for him until the last moment when I was like, okay, well, we're gonna see each other anyways. Like, I know, like, I actually like this guy and like he's cool and stuff. So yeah, and then my friend's like, you should tell him to reimburse your flights, whether you're going or not. It doesn't matter, you know? And I'm like, that's a good idea. Well, I actually had to ask him for the accommodation too, but thanks God I didn't ask because from what happened next. So I messaged him saying like, hey, I think it's fair if you just reimburse my flights. It's up to me. I'm still going or not, but whatever, like, you know the deal. Like, basically, I told you my situation and stuff like this. And he was like, sure, I'll do that. I think it's the right thing. Just like, give me a moment. I'll do something. So basically, I sent him the screenshot of my flights from like the receipt, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But obviously, I photoshopped it. I doubled the price, because emotional damage. So basically, I doubled the price, and I knew, like, I was like, okay, but it's still like little money. It's like still nothing. And I was just like, and I also told him, well, first I sent him the thing, and he's like, I'm not sure. Like, I just checked the prices for your flights, and they're like, not something doesn't add up. And I'm like, that motherfucker went online and checked the price. Like, are you kidding? Anyways, so basically, he was like, and I'm like, well, I'm not saying that like you have to send me the whole thing, like send whatever you're comfortable with. And he was like, okay, what's your PayPal? And I'm like, whatever my PayPal. So basically and then I went to sleep. Basically the next day I wake up, he hasn't sent anything. And I'm like, well, I'm still going to Japan. Fuck that. Plus, I have friends there. The only thing, like, all my friends are Japanese and they work on weekdays and I can't really hang out with anyone. I was actually anxious because this is my first time going to a country where I like, I've never been, you know, like I normally just like go back to countries. Anyways, so then on my, like, obviously I cried a lot and I was like, what the hell is going on? Like, what is this? Everything like seems so perfect, but then this guy's doing that, you know. And on my second flight after my layover, oh, basically, no, he did send me the money after I followed up. So I called my dad and told him the whole story. And he was like, that motherfucker has to send you money now. Like, why he hasn't even bought your flights? And I'm like, Papa, I love you. Thank you.
Oh,
So after my dad told me
good
to
daddy.
follow up, I followed up. Yeah, very good one. But like, and then also my dad told me something's shady, like something's wrong here. And I'm like, what can be wrong? The guy's just like doing the right thing because like probably that's what like that what I would do, or probably I wouldn't do that shit kind of, but whatever.
You wouldn't even be in that
So
situation to begin with. So
yeah, exactly. You know, I canceled all my dudes before going to Japan. I just like ignored everyone, you know, just for this to keep this one, but whatever. So I was the only one who did that. And then we were still landing at the same time, but I wasn't sure where where he's flying from and things. I just knew the time. And basically I landed and I thought like, should I see the guy or should I not? I knew that like we're in the same terminal or like different terminals, so like I can still check it, you know, like I'm flying from Asia, he's flying from Europe. So like I can still figure it out. And then I'm like, oh, fuck it. Like, obviously, I'm going to go see him. So I went to his terminal. I waited for a bit, but nothing. And I'm like, maybe his flight already landed. Like, I don't know what's going on. So I message him, and the messages are delivered, meaning that he's already here. And I'm like, hey, dude, just like, you know, no hard feelings, like friendly vibe. What's up? Like, are you still at the airport? And he's like, are you here? Are you in Japan? Oh my God, I didn't even realize that you would fly here. And I'm like, duh. And then I see the guy and he looks at me with puppy eyes, says, hi, I'm really, really sorry. Hi, Lisa, can we hug? And I go you like, is this the guy? Like, seriously, this is the guy that I liked. I thought I liked. No, it's not. Like, what the fuck? Anyway. Then
the ick has kicked in.
Yeah, but like it kind of like crushed it. Like the ick was like too strong that I thought like, ew, like that's like I never liked this guy. He's not like he was never the one. Like, who is this child? Like, what is he doing here? Like, I'm like, no, that's not the vibe, you know? So basically, he still had to like we still had to wait a couple hours until check-in, and I'm like, okay, let's go to Shibuya, like let's hang out, whatever. Like, what are you doing? And he was just like, I don't know what I'm doing. I was gonna get a taxi. And I'm like, what kind of taxi? What are you kidding? It's Japan. Like, get a train and like all these things, you know. So basically we spent half a day together without anything. Like, we ate, and he told me that like he fucked up his visa. He told me like some other things, and we just like pretended like nothing happened, but there was no like, you know, like anything, whatever. And then I had to leave, and I told him like, okay, bye, see you, never. And he was like, bye. So I went to my Airbnb, and it was, my Airbnb was amazing. And I booked it like last minute the night before. And then I'm like, yeah, fuck it. Like, this motherfucker is here. Like, I'm just going to message him and like, you know, ask him what's up. So I messaged him. I was like, dude, my Airbnb is amazing. He was like, oh, like mine is shit. I'm not feeling it. It's really bad. And I'm like, I was supposed to stay there with him, right? So basically, I changed my location on Hinge, and obviously like the next minute there was like 1,000 likes, and I'm like, okay, whatever. The first guy who liked my profile, and he was cute, and he was like, hey, do you want to go for dinner tonight in Tokyo? And I'm like, sure, let's go. So basically I went for dinner with like some random guy, and this guy, that guy, messaged me, "What are you doing tonight?" And I'm like, what are you doing? Why are you, what? Like, what? What's up? Anyways, I didn't reply. And then the next day and then I called him the next day. I'm like, fuck it, I need to go shopping. I need a shopping mate, whatever, shopping buddy. And I called him and I'm like, hey, I'm going shopping. Do you want to come with me? And he was like, yeah, sure, I can do it. Like, let's go, whatever. He was just like so ill. Like, I hated the guy. I was like, he wasn't like this before. Or was he? Maybe he was.
Why didn't you go shopping with the guy that you went to dinner with?
He was in a vibe. He was just
Okay.
like a friendly dude. And I honestly, like, I don't know how to do proper dates. Like, it was just so weird. We were just eating and he grabbed my hand, like, can I hold your hand? And I'm like, no. No, I'm gonna go home now, like. So basically, yeah. So, and then I went home. But yeah, the next day I went hang out with this one guy. I mean, the guy. And we spent the whole day together, basically. And then we stopped, like, to get some drinks. And he actually doesn't drink, from what he told me from before. Like, oh, I don't drink. I'm just like, I'm not into that anymore and stuff. And I'm like, sure. But this time he was buying a lot of drinks. He's like, do you want one more? Do you want one more? And I'm like, And then a friend of mine was like, hey, we're having this party at Traffic, actually. Do you want to come? And I'm like, sure. Or like Red Bar somewhere, whatever. And I'm like, yeah, sure. I want to see my friends. And like, I can finally see my friends. And this guy, and then I was like, do you want to come? And the guy was like, yeah, sure. I have nothing else to do. Like, let's go, whatever. So basically we went to the party. At the party, he kept buying me shots. And I'm like, something is going on. So basically, after the party, we ended up partying at like 5 a.m. You know how Tokyo is, anyways. We got an Uber. We went to my Airbnb. And I'm like, okay, drop me here and go to yours. And he was like, oh, it's far. Can I stay at yours? And I'm like, what's going on? What's going on? So basically, he did stay at mine. And obviously, we hooked up. But I was like, what are you doing? Didn't you tell me that you found the love of your life? And like, And he was like, well, I'm single. And I'm like, what? Like, what? Like, huh? But then, shit happened. We were drunk, whatever. The next morning, I'm like, oh, damn it. Like, why did I do this? Whatever. And I thought that would be the vibe. Like, him being awkward and kind of regretting stuff. No, he was cute and nice and touchy. And I was like, no, still, why are we together here? Like, this was not supposed to be like this. Where is the girl? Like, what's going on? Anyways, I went to his place after that because I had to check out. And then I went to, like, I was like, can I take a nap at yours? And we were both hungover, whatever. And I'll just go to my hotel after this. And he was like, sure. So basically we came to his, and he still he tried to hook up with me. And I'm like, anyways, and then I just left. I didn't say bye. He didn't say bye. He saw me leaving, and I'm like, okay, whatever. Then the same night I went out with my friends again, and I messaged him. I'm like, yeah, dude, like, same friends are asking, like, my friends are asking, where are you? And do you want to come? And he was like, no, sorry, I'm tired. I'm not coming, but like, you have fun. He wrote me like a super long message. And I'm like, okay, this guy's canceled. Goodbye. The next day I'm having brunch with my super amazing friend, and we're just walking somewhere, not even like Shibuya crossing, like somewhere like super random. And random crossing, I see, guess who? This guy with a girl. The girl. And I'm like, I see him and I get like crazy anxiety, and I grab my friend and we go to this other place, and I'm like, hey, like, let's go, like, we have to go like opposite direction because there's someone I don't want to see. And my friend's like, oh yeah, sure, like, let's go that way. We went that way. 5 seconds later, we see them again. And I'm like, what? The funny part is, the girl looks exactly like me. Like I didn't see her face actually. Like I saw that she was wearing literally the same outfit as me, even the hat. And I was like, what? Like the only thing that like her hair was longer, like way longer. And I'm like, that's so funny. And my friend was like, yo, dude, that's like, what the fuck? And I'm like, I don't know. Anyways, and then later that night, I messaged the guy saying, like, dude, like, you probably should share your location with me so I can avoid you in Tokyo because I saw you, like, I bumped into you too today twice. He replied in a couple hours saying, oh, I'm so sorry, Lisa. I guess Tokyo is like small and like, that's what I told you about, like the girl. And I'm like, are you freaking serious? So basically, he invited this girl to Tokyo when he knew that I'm going to Tokyo with like, so he did this whole freaking thing. And the fact that we hooked up the night before when the girl was on her flight, it doesn't mean anything for him. And who is it here doing the right thing? Him? I don't think so. And I'm like, God, I dodged the bullet. Literally.
100%.
I'm so sorry for the girl. I'm really sorry for the girl. But obviously, I'm not that kind of person who just lets go like this. I needed to see her face. And I work in social media, so I got skills. I got them skills. I tried to look for her. Obviously, I didn't know her name. I didn't know where she's from. I kind of like, I checked the followers, whatever. It didn't really work. And I'm like, yeah, fuck it. I checked the next day. It didn't really work. Whatever. Yeah, fuck it. But then I realized that, she's probably like, he said that he's been talking to her for like whatever a while. So he followed her like a long time ago and stuff. And like, and then I realized that she's probably famous. And I'm like, she's probably like someone, And then I'm like, maybe she's like some influencer, whatever, with like 100,000 whatever followers, or like maybe like something else. And then I went out the other night, but then I kind of forgot about it. Like I already like kind of met someone else, and it was like the most amazing trip of my life. And I wanted to leave earlier, but then I extended my trip in the end, and everything was like great. And then I went out with my friends, and we see the guy and the girl at a club. And again, I'm like, I didn't look at her face because I just felt embarrassed, like secondhand embarrassment. I was like, whoa, like, that's what the hell? Anyways, and then she's blonde, I'm blonde, and like this club full of like Japanese people. And like, if I'm looking at the blonde person and the blonde person's like you can see. So I didn't want to like, see, like I was literally like standing where the lights in, and like I'm like, I don't want to like people know where I'm looking at, like all this kind of stuff. So basically I did not see her. But then the next morning I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna check Instagram again. And I found her account. And I'm like, right. The funny part, yeah, she is quite famous. She used to be famous. Like she's just like whatever, a model or something. And the thing is, we are from the same, like she's also like from Eastern Europe. And I've met her. I met her when I was a kid. And that's just ridiculous, like, and then we're same age. She's blonde, I'm blonde. And I'm like, what the hell? Seriously. So basically, and then the next day I saw them again. I saw them again at the cafe, and I'm like, I literally walk into this cafe and then I walk out. I'm like, I'm so sick of you guys. Like, I'm sick of seeing this shit, And I'm like, okay, I'm done. Whatever. Yeah, I mean, it's nice. And then, like, whatever, I lived my life after that. The guy, so basically, they went back together. They left Japan, and then now I know that they're still together. And they I think they moved in together or something, so they're living the happily ever after. And yeah, I will share their accounts with you, but not with public. So yeah,
Oh my
that's
God.
the story.
That was a
That's
whirlwind.
yeah. So
Thank you for
basically,
sharing.
thanks. Thank you for listening.
Okay, so
It
what
was
can we learn
overwhelming.
from Lisa's story? Let's break it down. You're so different to me. Um,
I
firstly,
want to be different.
firstly, I feel like it depends on what you're looking for when you're dating. So if I was, okay, because there's two different ways to date. There's like fuck around and find out, having fun, which I'm all for. And then there's like, okay, we're dating and I want to be taken seriously. So I would say that if you wanted to go from like fuck around and find out to like being taken seriously, obviously compatibility is a huge thing. So like with this guy, it's obviously not really ideal circumstances. But to start off with, I would never be available to go out with someone day of if I've never met them before. Actually, even if I'm fucking around and finding out, I would just be like, oh, I've got plans tonight, but like let's do another day.
Yeah.
That's the first thing. This is not a knock at you. This is just like general. We're taking,
I love that.
we're
I love that.
learning, we're living, laughing, learning. Because it doesn't actually like, yeah, like fuck around and find out, I'm all for. But just generally with, because I think the best way to punish a guy is to make yourself unforgettable, even if you need to like manipulate them just enough, even if you're just fucking around and finding out, so that they're like, oh damn, like you're still like the one that got away to a degree, like, because there's no point in trying to make something work that isn't going to work, but at least it's like, oh okay, he's going to be thinking about
Yeah.
that. And the best
Damn.
way to do that is to gatekeep. Okay, ladies, 2024 and beyond, we're going to start gatekeeping, because men get it too easy, and then you have these like triangulation nonsense situations. Also, a huge red flag for this dude, which is going to follow him until he hits some kind of emotional or spiritual rock bottom, is total lack of emotional and sexual discipline. Like, the fact that it's so easy for him to just fall in love from one person to another and just bleh, is like,
Yeah.
red flag. And I used to be like so susceptible to like sweet nothings from a man when I was younger. And then as you get older and you like become more confident, or you're able to like self-validate, and you're taking like intentional steps to work on understanding and appreciating your own self-concept and your identity, when like, because you can feel like, because I used to feel like, oh, like I'm fine how I am, but then sometimes like a guy says something and you're like, oh okay, like you fall for it. But now I'm like, or you're like, oh well yeah, why wouldn't you feel that way, because I am amazing, which you are regardless of who you are. But it's like, there's a difference between like, yeah, I am amazing and of course he feels this way and why wouldn't he be in love with me, and then there's like, yeah, no shit.
Yeah.
And I don't know you and you don't know me, and even though it's obvious that I am all these things, I don't know if you're those things. Okay, so because it does actually take time to really know yourself and to communicate that with some, okay, not only to know yourself, but then to also communicate that to another person, exchange that in a relationship, and know them as well, for them to know you. When you've taken time to like explore all the different parts of your identity and appreciate that, you're like, oh fuck, it took me so long to actually realize who I really am. So of course it's going to take just as much time, if not more, for me to really know someone else and for that to be authentic and genuine, right? Versus just like, you're hot, I'm hot, let's go, you know?
Yes. Damn.
And
Okay.
there's a time and place for either. You know, I'm all for like, you're hot, I'm hot, let's go. But to protect yourself and to protect your own like vulnerability, when it's like a short-term thing, it's like, okay, we can like be hot and enjoy this and have fun, but I also know that like you don't know me and I don't know you. And that's a different thing to us just having like a surface level like attraction, you know? And that took me a long time to like really appreciate, because there is a time and place for either or, but it's like being aware of the difference. So it's like, okay, a genuine connection where we're like actually getting to know each other. There's this like discomfort in being vulnerable and like, you know, extending yourself towards each other in this way. And you like literally need time for that to happen. So that doesn't happen over like a week or over like 2 months. And that's okay. But it's like you can just enjoy the hot and fun part of that in the short term, but it's like separate to actually getting to know each other. Just reminding yourself, if you catch yourself being like, I've known this guy for 1 week and we're going to get married.
Oh.
It's like, I've known this guy for 1 week and it's hot and it's fun, but let's give it time, you know? So then you're just like withholding enough to like enjoy it. But it's like, we'll see how we go with the baby plans and the moving in together plans and the whatever plans. So I feel like for anyone that's listening, if you have ever been in this kind of like love bombing situation and you feel like this huge gap between like the headiness of the experience and like what they were promising or what they were like saying, and then like the reality of when you realize like the actual gap between who they are, like after him being like, oh, I met this girl, and you're like, what? Oh wait, that's who you are? The fuck? Yeah, just like managing like the passing of time and the surface level like connection, you know, because it just takes time. I feel like sometimes we are like seeking connection or validation, and like we're hoping that there's like some shortcut, you know, like we know that it takes time, but at the same time we're like, oh, but this feels great too, so like we could just go with this. But it's like, it does just take time, you know, even if people do have situations where they meet and like it's like whirlwind and they do have like a long-term thing, it takes time to know people in order to protect your heart and your divine femininity. Just enjoy the moment, but remember that it takes time for you to really know someone and for them to really know you. And men, they're pigs. Okay, so more about the attraction and the physical intimacy. That's at the forefront of their mind when they're coming with you with that energy, which is okay, you know, but just recognize it for what it is. You have more power than you realize when it comes to dealing with them in that situation.
Took some notes. But how about, you know, like the love from first sight, and then when you see this person and you click and you feel like, oh yeah, that's the one, and you don't have to pretend and play games and be like that. I've been looking for this kind of person my whole life, but I think that doesn't exist, right? You still need to kind of stop yourself and be like, wait a minute, I need to protect myself first. I need to get to know you first, and then but I'm a Cancer. I kind of go all in, even though I'm trying to stop myself and set some boundaries first and be like, I'm that bitch, but actually I'm that bitch. But you know, I am that bitch.
Well, you know, I think there's it depends on how you define love, right? So like I have a very specific definition of love, which is separate to attraction and separate to like lust at first sight. I think it's totally possible to meet someone and be like, oh, I feel like something between us that I don't feel with other people. But sometimes you need to give it time to be like, well, what is that feeling indicating exactly? You know, I'm not discrediting that there are like some people that you meet or some connections that you come across that feel very different or more intense than others. But I don't think that in and of itself is a reflection of like your long-term compatibility or even your short-term compatibility, you know, or even like your physical, like sexual compatibility. Like some guys you meet and you're like, oh my God, he's hot, blah, blah, blah. And then it's not actually.
No.
It happens, you know. So like I'm not saying like ignore the feeling, but it's just like how much weight are we putting on this feeling, right? You do need to kind of like uh manage it. And also when you realize that, when you think about like what I'm doing recently is like thinking about my experience from different parts of my brain. So there's like the animal part of your brain where this attraction and these like feelings come from. And then there's like your prefrontal cortex, the thing that separates man from animal, and like your ability to make decisions and to like discern and make intentional choices based on like an imaginary future or based on like your ideal self. So it's okay to recognize and acknowledge the feelings and the attraction, whatever that you have, or the anxiety that you have, or the lust and the love, whatever. But then it's like, okay, well, what type of girl do I want to be? What kind of life am I looking for? And if you're just like, I just want to be messy and have fun, act accordingly.
Yeah.
If you're like, okay, I don't want to get heartbroken again, or I don't want to like make the same mistake as last time, then you make a different decision. So that's the difference, I think. You know, the feelings are there, they're real, but what purpose do they serve in your story or your definition of being hot and having fun? Because to me, love is like action. It's not just feeling. You know, you can have loving feelings towards someone, but they're not necessarily, that doesn't mean that they're acting towards you with love. So like that guy, when he's saying that he misses you, blah, blah, blah. Okay, sure, he has loving feelings towards you, but he's not acting towards you with love when he's talking to some other chick, you know? He's not even acting with, he's not even
true.
acting with love to her, because he's not being transparent about the fact that he's found her twin and was like, you know,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? So like, it's about like neutralizing the definition of love. I think that makes things so much, that provides so much clarity, because it's not about like your worth. It's not about your value or anything. It's just like the integrity of the situation. So it's like, is he acting in a way that is loving? Well, no, that doesn't mean that it's got anything to do with you. It's just like, he's not, you know, or like you're not, or whatever. So
yeah,
in order to like build a foundation, a loving foundation that's like authentic and genuine, you need time to pass, because people need time to take action. You know, he can say like, oh, let's do this, I'm going to do blah, 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 in like an hour, but he's still going to need like a month, a year, 3 years for that to play out. And when you can recognize like the difference between those two things, you can like mediate how much you invest into just words. Because if there's no like, okay, prove it, you know, like it's easy to say, but who the fuck's doing it? Okay.
so true. Look at me getting educated in the toilet, bathroom, club bathroom,
and also like
bathroom.
his bullshit is his bullshit, you know, it's gonna go with him no matter what relationship he's in.
Yeah.
So whoever he's with now, she's just more willing to put up with it than you would be. Or she's probably got side dick and maybe he's being outplayed. That's what it sounds like.
Yeah, actually.
She's your ally.
I don't want to.
She's your ally.
I'm actually like, I'm not like, I can't be mad at the girl or anything. I'm just like, poor girl. I feel sorry for her. Like whoever she is, whatever she do, and like whatever, like everything. It's just nothing matters. It's just, girl, you're with a dick guy. Like he's really not worth it. But obviously she doesn't know. Probably she knows it by now. But like,
She's probably just the same as him.
Yeah. Yeah. So basically, if someone better shows up, bye, you know. Someone with like more Instagram followers, or like more, I don't know, famous, or anyone, whatever. But yeah, that's crazy.
The
But
overlap is way
I
too
thought
close for there to be any change in his behavior, you know. Either he's like simping for her because she's outplayed him, or they're exactly the same and they're just playing each other.
some hope. Thank you.
Like,
you.
you
I'm
deserve
here.
better. Rejection is
Yeah.
protection, honey. Like, you've seen him and what he would do
Yeah.
if it,
True.
like, it was, you know, better for you to find out sooner rather than later. And either he's going to receive the treatment that he gave you from this girl, or he's going to do the same thing to her with someone else. So don't worry about it.
Oh, I love that. Even though I'm not that kind of person, like I don't wish him that, but I mean, I wish him well and be happy and healthy and well, and I don't.
Ew,
But like,
no. I don't wish people well. I don't wish people, I just
yeah.
wish them, I wish you nothing. I wish you nothing. I don't wish you bad. I don't wish
Absolutely.
you well. I wish you nothing. Goodbye.
Yeah, true.
Don't feel
Well,
like you need
yeah.
to wish someone something that you don't genuinely like. Just wish them nothing.
Mhm. True, both of them. Wish you nothing.
If anyone
Yeah,
out there
but
is struggling to wish someone who fucked them over well, just wish them nothing. Problem solved.
literally the best.
Neutral
That's
karma.
the tagline of my day, of my life now. Just like, I wish you nothing.
Yeah.
That's literally the best. Love it. You need merch. You need merch.
I wish you nothing.
And like that and whatever. Yeah. So yeah, that's a good tagline. That's sellable, that's catchy, and yeah, just do it. Marketing, you know. Yeah, oh my God, thank you so much. No, actually, I needed to hear something like this because I kind of like, since I broke up with my ex, it's been a year and something, and I kind of felt like, oh yeah, I'll find someone better, and like I don't really need to think about it. Like there will be someone who's like just the one. But I guess I always need to protect myself first and not throw myself into
Slaying is
whatever.
a journey. Slaying is a journey, you know, live, love. It's okay.
Love it.
Thank you, Lisa, for being on today's episode of Friend Crush with Amber Killer.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for sharing your story and being vulnerable with us. Thank you so much for tuning in, everyone. Drink lots of water. Tell your friends and family you love them. Stay hot and having fun. And speak to you soon. Love you.
Bye.